3 knocks. That's all it took to change Henry Owens's life forever. The 17-year-old opened the door of his cramped apartment, still in his pajamas, and froze. A stranger stood there, expensive suit, gray hair, behind him a black car that didn't belong in this neighborhood. "Henry Owens?" the man asked. Henry's heart pounded. "Yeah?"
I need to talk to you about Friday night. About what you did for my mother.
The freezing rain, the confused old woman, the $12, his last $12, that Henry gave away without thinking twice. He didn't know her name, didn't know where she came from, just knew she needed help. He had no idea what was about to happen, but nothing would ever be the same again. Let's rewind to Friday morning, before the knock, before everything changed. Henry's alarm screamed at 4:47 a.m. He slapped it silent, careful not to wake his mother sleeping on the pull-out couch 6 feet away. Their studio apartment in South Philadelphia was so small you could touch both walls if you stretched your arms wide enough. The radiator clanked and hissed, the kind of sound you stop hearing after living with it for years. Henry's feet hit cold linoleum. February in Philly. The thermostat stayed at 62 degrees. Any higher and the electric bill became impossible. He tiptoed to the bathroom, splashed water on his face, looked in the mirror. Dark circles under his eyes. When you work 3 jobs and maintain a 3.8 GPA, sleep becomes a luxury. In the kitchen, really just a corner with a hot plate and mini fridge, he made instant coffee. The cheap kind that tastes like burnt rubber but costs $1 for a whole container. His mother stirred. "Baby, you up already?" Janet Owens's voice was rough from exhaustion. She'd just gotten home from her overnight shift at the hospital. Janitorial work. Minimum wage. Double shifts because one job wasn't enough. "Go back to sleep, Mom. You just got in." "You eat something?" Henry lied. "Yeah, I'm good." The truth? There were crackers in the cupboard. Peanut butter almost gone. That was breakfast. He checked his phone. Bank account, $34.50. Rent was due in 5 days. $890. His chest tightened. Not now. Can't think about that now. On the table sat 2 letters. One made him smile. One made him want to scream. The first, Stanford University acceptance letter. Full tuition scholarship. His ticket is out. His future. The second, financial aid statement. Congratulations, you're admitted. Now find $8,000 for housing, books, and fees. Good luck. $8,000. He'd applied to 47 scholarships. 47. Every single one. Rejected. Henry grabbed his backpack and slipped out the door. The bike ride to Jefferson High took 40 minutes. Could have taken the bus, but that's $2.50 each way. $5 a day adds up fast. So he pedaled. Rain or shine, snow or heat. Today the wind cut through his thin jacket like knives, but he pedaled harder, legs burning, breath visible in the freezing air. School was the easy part. Classes made sense. Teachers liked him. He wasn't the smartest kid there, but he worked harder than anyone else. Mrs. Patterson, his English teacher, stopped him in the hallway. "Henry, have you made your decision about Stanford?" He forced a smile. "Still figuring it out." She frowned. "The deposit deadline is in 6 weeks. You can't wait too long." "I know, I'm working on it." What he didn't say, "I'm working on finding $8,000 while making $9 an hour. I'm working on keeping my mother alive with medication that costs $340 a month. I'm working on not falling apart." Mrs. Patterson squeezed his shoulder. "You're going to do great things, Henry. I believe in you." He wanted to believe her. At lunch, he sat with his friends. They talked about prom, about college, about summer plans. Jamal was going to Howard, full ride. Tasha got into Penn State. Her parents were throwing a party. Marcus, not his real name, just what everyone called him, was taking a gap year, said college wasn't for him. "What about you, Henry?" Tasha asked. "Stanford, right? That's huge." "Yeah," he said, "if I can figure out the money." "Just get more financial aid," Jamal said, like it was that simple. Henry didn't argue. They didn't understand. Their families had savings, safety nets, options. His family had him, and he was 17, holding everything together with duct tape and prayer. After school came work, 3:30 to 6, grocery bagger at Save More, minimum wage. He smiled at every customer, helped little old ladies load their cars, collected carts from the parking lot. His manager, Mr. Carter, was decent, gave him consistent hours, never asked why Henry sometimes ate the broken cookies from the bakery section. 6:15, he biked to Green's Diner. This was his favorite job, not because it paid well, it didn't, $9 an hour plus tips, but because it felt like family. Mr. Green, the owner, was 68 years old, gruff voice, soft heart. He'd owned this place for 30 years, knew every regular by name. "Henry!" he barked when Henry walked in. "You're late!" "I'm 5 minutes early, Mr. Green." "Yeah, well, you're usually 10 minutes early. That makes you late." Henry grinned. This was their routine. The diner smelled like coffee and bacon grease, worn red booths, black and white checkered floor, a jukebox in the corner that only played Motown. Henry liked the regulars. Mrs. Washington always left him an extra $5, said it was for college. Tonight she came in at 7, ordered her usual, meatloaf and mashed potatoes, and slipped him a crumpled bill when she left. "For Stanford, baby," she whispered. He wanted to cry. Instead, he smiled. "Thank you, Mrs. Washington." $5. Every bit helped. He counted his tips at the end of his shift. $23.40. Combined with what he had, that brought him to... Still not enough. Still so far from enough. But tomorrow was another day, another shift, another chance to get closer to that impossible number. Henry didn't know it yet, but his last shift of the night, the one about to start, would change everything. Because sometimes the universe has a plan, even when you can't see it. At 8:47 p.m., the sky opened up. Not regular rain, freezing rain. The kind that turns roads into ice rinks and makes you question why you live in Philadelphia. Henry watched through the diner window as the last customers hurried to their cars, collars pulled up against the cold. Mr. Green wiped down the counter. "We're closing early. This weather's getting nasty." Henry nodded. If he left now, he could bike home before the roads got worse. He started cleaning tables, stacking chairs. Saturday meant a double shift at the community center. Not glamorous, but it paid. His phone buzzed. Text from his mom. "Working overnight, extra shift, be safe. Love you." Henry smiled. The extra shift meant extra money. They needed it. That's when the door chimed. An elderly white woman stumbled through the entrance. She was soaked, completely drenched. Gray hair plastered to her skull. An expensive wool coat hung heavy with rain. But it was her face that stopped him. Confusion. Pure, terrified confusion. She gripped the doorframe like she might fall. Her hands trembled violently. "Ma'am?" Henry dropped the plates. "Are you okay?" She looked at him but didn't seem to see him. Her eyes darted around the diner. I was supposed to..." She trailed off. Mr. Green came around the counter. "Lady, we're about to close." "She needs help," Henry cut him off. He guided her to the corner booth. She moved slowly, unsteadily. Up close, Henry noticed more. Her lips had a bluish tinge. Hypothermia. This was bad. She wore pearl earrings, real ones, a silk scarf with a monogram, and on her wrist, under her coat sleeve, a medical alert bracelet. The woman collapsed into the booth, breathing hard. "Please," she whispered, "I need something warm. Soup." Her voice was educated, cultured. This wasn't someone who lived on the streets. Henry grabbed water, brought it to her. She tried to take it, but her hands shook so badly water sloshed everywhere. "Let me help." He held the glass while she drank. "Thank you," she managed. "I'm so cold." "What's your name?" She paused, struggled. Catherine Sterling, I think." "You think?" Tears formed. "I can't remember. I was at the doctor, downtown, and then I was walking, and I can't find..." She opened her purse with fumbling fingers, stared inside. Her face crumpled. "My wallet! Where's my wallet?" Henry's chest tightened. Something was very wrong. "Do you know where you live, Catherine?" She closed her eyes, concentrating. "Chestnut Hill, the house with the iron gates. Edward loved the fountain." She stopped. "Where is Edward?" "Is Edward your husband?" "He's gone." Her voice broke. 5 years, I forget sometimes." Catherine fumbled with her purse again. Pills rattled. Multiple bottles. The medical alert bracelet slipped into view. Red symbol. Emergency contact engraved on metal. Henry's mind raced. This woman was lost. Sick. Hypothermic. No wallet, no phone. And if she walked back into that storm... He looked at the window. The freezing rain was worse. Temperature dropping, streets turning to ice. "Catherine, let me get you some soup. You need to warm up." She looked at him with such gratitude. "I don't have money. I can't find my wallet." "Don't worry about it." "But I can't just..." "Please, it's okay." Henry walked to the counter. Mr. Green raised an eyebrow. "Kid, we're closing." "She needs soup. She's hypothermic, and she's lost." "Not our problem." Henry pulled out his wallet. $12. 6 ones, a 5, 4 quarters. This was everything. Everything until next Friday. Breakfast money, bus fare. The safety net between him broke. He looked at Catherine, shivering, looked at her blue lips, looked at the storm outside. Then he looked at the $12, and he made a choice. "Tomato soup," he told Mr. Green, "and crackers." Mr. Green stared. "You sure?" Henry counted the bills. Once, twice, 3 times. $12. "Yeah, I'm sure." He handed over the money. Mr. Green took it slowly, rang it up, brought the soup. Henry carried the bowl to Catherine. Steam rose from it. She wrapped her hands around it like it was the most precious thing in the world. "Thank you," she whispered. "I don't even know your name." "Henry. Henry Owens." "Henry." She repeated it slowly. "Henry Owens. I need to remember that." She ate, slowly. Color returned to her face, and Henry stood there, $12 poorer, watching a stranger warm up. What he didn't know, what he couldn't possibly know, was that the security camera in the corner was recording everything. And what he really didn't know was that the confused woman in his booth was one of the wealthiest people in Philadelphia. In less than 48 hours, she would remember his name, and nothing would ever be the same. Catherine ate the soup slowly, hands still trembling around the bowl. Henry sat across from her, watching color return to her cheeks. The blue tinge on her lips was fading. Good sign, but the confusion remained. "Where do you live, Catherine?" he asked gently. She looked up from the soup. "Chestnut Hill, I told you. The house with the gates." "Do you remember the address?" Her face clouded. No, I can't." Panic crept into her voice. "Why can't I remember?" It's okay. Henry kept his voice calm. "Do you have a phone?" She searched her purse, pulled out compact, tissues, those pill bottles. No phone. "I must have. I don't know where it is." Henry's mind worked fast. This woman needed to get home. But how? She didn't know her address, didn't have a phone, didn't have money. The storm outside was getting worse by the minute. Then he saw it again, the medical alert bracelet on her wrist. "Catherine, can I see your bracelet?" She extended her arm without question. Henry leaned closer, read the engraving. "Catherine Sterling, Alzheimer's patient if found, call 215-555-0199. Emergency contact, Marcus Sterling." His heart sank. Alzheimer's. That explained everything. The confusion, the memory loss, the fear in her eyes. She wasn't just lost, she was sick, vulnerable, and she'd been wandering in freezing rain. "Catherine," he said carefully, "your bracelet has a phone number for emergencies. Can I call it to help you get home?" She looked at the bracelet like she'd never seen it before, then nodded. "Yes, please. I want to go home." Henry pulled out his phone, battery at 12%. He'd forgotten to charge it last night. He dialed the number. It rang once. Someone picked up immediately. "Mom!" A man's voice, desperate and frantic. "Where are you? We've been looking everywhere!" Henry's throat went dry. "Sir, my name is Henry Owens. I'm at Green's Diner on Tasker Street in South Philadelphia. Your mother is here. She's safe." Silence. Then a sound like a sob of relief. "Oh, thank God! Thank God!" The man's voice cracked. "Is she okay? Is she hurt?" "She's cold and confused, but she's warming up. She had some soup. But, sir, she doesn't have her wallet or phone, and she can't remember her address. We've had security teams searching for 3 hours." The man was talking fast, like words couldn't come out quick enough. "She had an appointment at Jefferson Hospital. Memory clinic at 6. She never met her driver after. We've been terrified." Henry looked at Catherine. She was watching him, trust in her eyes. "She mentioned a driver named Victor," Henry said. "That's right, hold on." Muffled conversation in the background. Someone was crying. The man came back on the line. "Henry, I can't thank you enough. We're sending a car right now. Can you stay with her? 20 minutes, please." "Of course. I'll stay as long as she needs." "The weather, is she warm enough?" "Yes, sir. She's inside. She has soup. She's warming up." The man's voice broke. "You have no idea what you've done. Thank you. What's your full name? I need to know who saved my mother." "Henry Owens, sir. But really, I'm just glad she's safe." Henry Owens. The man repeated it like a prayer. "I won't forget that name. Victor will be there soon. Our driver. Please, just keep her safe." "I promise." Henry hung up, looked at Catherine. "Your son is sending someone to pick you up. Victor, you'll be home soon." Relief flooded her face. "Marcus called Victor?" "Yes, they've been looking for you." "I got lost." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I couldn't remember. I tried so hard to remember." Henry reached across the table, squeezed her hand. "You're safe now. That's what matters." She gripped his hand tight. "You're a good person, Henry Owens." Mr. Green had been watching from behind the counter. Now he walked over, set down a cup of hot tea. "On the house," he muttered. Catherine looked up at him. "Thank you." Mr. Green nodded, walked away. But Henry saw something in the old man's eyes. Respect. 23 minutes felt like hours. Henry sat with Catherine, making small talk. Asked about her house, about Edward, about anything to keep her oriented. She talked about the fountain, how Edward had it installed for their 30th anniversary, how she could see it from the bedroom window. Sometimes she lost the thread mid-sentence, forgot what she was saying, started over. Henry listened patiently, never rushed her. Outside, headlights cut through the rain. A black Lincoln Town car pulled up to the curb. "That's Victor," Catherine said, sudden clarity in her voice. The driver's door opened. An older man, 60-something, silver hair, professional, rushed through the rain toward the diner. He burst through the door, saw Catherine, and his whole body sagged with relief. "Mrs. Sterling, thank God!" Catherine stood unsteady. "Victor! There you are! I've been waiting!" Victor crossed to her in 3 strides, helped her stand. Then he turned to Henry. "You're Henry?" Henry nodded. Victor gripped his hand. Firm handshake. His eyes were red. "Mr. Sterling told me, thank you. Thank you for taking care of her. I'm just glad she's safe." Victor helped Catherine into her coat. She was still wearing Henry's description. Wait, no. Henry realized he'd given her his jacket earlier without thinking. She had it draped over her shoulders. "Ma'am, that's my jacket." "Oh!" She started to take it off. "No, keep it until you get to the car. It's cold." Victor looked at Henry, really looked at him. Saw the thin shirt, the worn shoes, the exhaustion around the eyes. "Son, give me your contact information. The family will want to thank you properly." Henry hesitated. "That's not necessary." "Please." Henry scribbled his name and number on a napkin. Victor pocketed it carefully. Catherine turned back at the door, looked at Henry with those confused but kind eyes. "Henry Owens," she said. "Henry Owens. I need to remember. You helped me." She was repeating his name, trying to lock it in her failing memory. "Just get home safe, okay?" Henry said. Victor opened an umbrella, guided Catherine out into the rain and to the waiting car. Henry watched through the window. Victor helped her into the back seat, closed the door gently. Then he looked back at the diner, raised his hand in thanks. Lincoln pulled away. Taillights disappeared into the storm. Henry stood there, suddenly aware of how cold he was without his jacket. Mr. Green walked up beside him. "That was a good thing you did, kid." She needed help. "You gave her your last $12." Henry shrugged. "She needed it more than I did." Mr. Green pulled out his wallet, counted out $20. "Take it." "Mr. Green, I can't." "You can and you will." The old man pressed the bills into Henry's hand. "What you did tonight, that was special. Now get home before this weather kills you." Henry's throat was tight. "Thank you." He grabbed his backpack, headed for the door. Outside, the freezing rain hit him like a wall. His bike was still chained to the rack. He'd be soaked to the bone by the time he got home. But as he pedaled into the storm, legs burning, hands numb, he didn't regret it. Catherine was safe. That's what mattered. What Henry didn't know, what he couldn't possibly know, was that at that exact moment, 15 miles away, Marcus Sterling was watching security footage from the diner, watching Henry count his money 3 times, watching him make the choice. And Marcus was making plans that would change Henry's life forever. Henry's apartment was dark when he stumbled through the door at 10:38 p.m., soaked to the bone, shivering so hard his teeth chattered. His mother was still at work, overnight shift. The apartment felt emptier than usual. He peeled off his wet clothes, hung them over the radiator. The metal clanked and hissed, barely putting out heat. In the cupboard, crackers. He ate them standing up, too tired to sit. His phone buzzed. Low battery warning, 5%. He plugged it in, collapsed on his bed. The events of the night replayed in his mind. Catherine's confused face, her trembling hands, the way she kept repeating his name, trying so hard to remember. Alzheimer's. His heart ached for her. All the money in the world, he'd seen her clothes, her jewelry, and she couldn't remember her own address. Some things money can't fix. Henry pulled out the business card that had fallen from Catherine's purse. He'd picked it up, meant to give it back, forgotten the chaos. Heavy cardstock, embossed gold lettering. Catherine Sterling, founder and chairman, Sterling Global Enterprises. Below that, an address in Center City, a private phone line. Curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed his phone, Googled the name. Results loaded slowly. His internet was always slow. Then his screen filled with articles. Fortune 500 company, real estate development, venture capital. Henry clicked About. A professional photo loaded. Catherine Sterling. But not Catherine from tonight. This Catherine was confident, powerful, navy suit, glass building behind her. Silver hair perfect, eyes sharp. He scrolled down. Net worth estimated at $4.7 billion. Henry's phone slipped from his hands. $4.7 billion. He'd just helped a billionaire. He sat up, read it again. Same number. The confused woman who couldn't find her wallet was one of the richest people in Philadelphia, and she had Alzheimer's. Henry thought about her wandering tonight. Had anyone else tried to help? Or had they seen a confused old woman and looked away? His chest felt tight. Rich or poor, she was human. Lost and scared and cold. He was glad he'd helped. He'd do it again. Henry set the card on his nightstand next to his Stanford letter. The contrast wasn't lost on him. She built a billion-dollar empire. He couldn't afford college housing. She had everything, except her memory. He had nothing, except his choices. He fell asleep hoping she got home safe. Saturday passed quietly. Henry woke at 9 a.m. His mother was home, just back from her shift. He told her about last night, the old woman, Alzheimer's, the phone call. Janet listened, tears forming. "Baby, you did good. I just hope she's okay. That disease is scary." Janet hugged him. "Rich or poor, we all struggle. You treated her like a person. That matters. Henry showed her the business card. Janet's eyes widened. A billionaire? I didn't know, Mom. She just needed help. That's why I'm proud of you. Saturday was normal. Homework. Meal prep with Mr. Green's $20. Rice, beans, eggs. Henry calculated. Still needed $890 for rent by Thursday. Still needed $8,000 for Stanford. The numbers haunted him. Sunday morning, he woke to the smell of eggs. His mother was cooking. They sat at their tiny table together. "What do you want to do today?" Janet asked. "Just rest. Spend time with you." She smiled. "Perfect." At 9:03 a.m., someone knocked. 3 sharp knocks. Henry and Janet looked at each other. They never got visitors. "Are you expecting someone?" she asked. "No." Henry walked to the door, looked through the peephole. A tall man in an expensive suit stood there. Behind him, through the window, a black Lincoln Town car sat on the street. Henry's stomach dropped. He recognized that car. He opened the door. The man extended his hand. "Henry Owens?" Henry's mouth went dry. "Yes?" "My name is Marcus Sterling. I'm Catherine's son, the woman you helped Friday night." He paused. "May I come in? I need to talk with you." Henry stepped aside, still processing. Marcus Sterling walked into their tiny apartment. Behind him, a woman in a gray suit followed. "This is Victoria Hayes," Marcus said, "my executive assistant." Janet appeared from the kitchen, protective instinct kicking in. "Henry, what's going on?" "Mom, this is Marcus Sterling. His mother, the woman from Friday." Janet's eyes widened. She'd seen the business card. Marcus extended his hand. "Mrs. Owens, you've raised an extraordinary young man." Janet shook his hand cautiously. "Please sit. Can I get you coffee?" "That's kind, but don't trouble yourself." Marcus's eyes swept the apartment. The worn couch, the Stanford letter on the table, medical bills on the counter. He saw it all. They sat. Marcus and Victoria on the couch, Henry and Janet across from them. Marcus leaned forward. "Henry, I need to tell you about Friday night." Henry's heart pounded. "My mother has Alzheimer's disease, diagnosed 8 months ago." Janet's hand went to her mouth. "Friday, she had an appointment at Jefferson Hospital, memory clinic. Afterward, she was supposed to meet our driver in the parking garage. Level 3, Section B." He paused, emotion thick in his voice. "She went to Level 2, Section C. When our driver wasn't there, she panicked. Couldn't remember the right level, couldn't remember his number. She left and started walking." Janet gripped Henry's hand. "We had security teams searching, police involved. We were terrified." Victoria spoke quietly. "We tracked her route through traffic cameras. She wandered for 2 hours." Marcus pulled out his phone, showed them a map with red dots marking Catherine's path. 17 people saw her. He swiped to security screenshots from different locations. 3 crossed the street to avoid her. 2 told her to find a shelter. 1 shop owner threatened to call the police. A bus driver refused her. Tears filled his eyes. "My mother built a Fortune 500 company, donated millions to hospitals, and when she needed help, when she was vulnerable, people treated her like she was invisible." He looked at Henry. "Then she walked into Green's diner and met you." Marcus pulled out a tablet. "I need you to see something." He turned the screen toward them. Security footage from the diner began to play. Grainy but clear. Catherine stumbling in. Henry rushing to help, bringing water, then soup. Then the critical moment. Henry at the register, pulling out bills, counting. Marcus paused the video, zoomed in. "Watch this." The footage showed Henry's hands, counting once, twice, 3 times. His face showed the internal struggle, then the decision. Handing the money to Mr. Green. Marcus's voice cracked. $12. That's all you had." Victoria spoke next. "We had our analysts look at this footage, and we did some research." She pulled documents from her briefcase. "Legally," she added quickly, "through our foundation's standard screening process for scholarship candidates." She slid papers across the coffee table. Henry's bank statements, school records, his mother's medical bills. Janet stiffened. You investigated us? Marcus met her eyes. I needed to understand. I needed to know who this young man was who saved my mother's life. He pointed to the bank statement from Friday. Your account balance that morning was $34.50. You gave away 12 of it. More than a third of everything you had. Henry's throat went tight. Marcus picked up another document. 47 scholarship applications, all rejected. Then another. Stanford acceptance, full tuition, but you need $8,000 for housing and fees. Janet was crying now. Marcus's voice grew softer. Your mother's diabetes medication, $340 a month. Medical debt, $4,200. He looked up at Henry. You knew what that $12 meant, and you gave it anyway. The tablet came back. Marcus pressed play on another video, audio this time. The phone call from Friday night. Henry's voice. Sir, my name is Henry Owens. I'm at Green's Diner on Tasker Street in South Philadelphia. Your mother is here. She's safe. Marcus's voice breaking with relief. Oh, thank God. Thank God. The call continued. Henry's calm responses, his promise to stay with Catherine. Marcus stopped the recording, wiped his eyes. Do you know what that phone call meant to me? To our family? He pulled out his own phone, showed them text messages, timestamps from Friday night. 8:13 p.m., security team, no sign of her yet. 8:47 p.m., police, expanding search radius. 9:02 p.m., Marcus to family group chat, please God let her be okay. Then at 9:11 p.m., unknown number calling. That was you, Marcus said, calling from a dying phone battery to tell me my mother was alive. His voice shook. The medical team said if she'd been outside another 30 minutes, hypothermia could have killed her. You didn't just buy her soup, Henry, you saved her life. Henry couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Marcus leaned back, collecting himself. After my mother got home Friday night, she couldn't stop talking about you. She kept saying your name, over and over. Henry Owens! Henry Owens helped me! Find Henry Owens! He pulled out a piece of paper, handwritten, Catherine's shaky script. Henry Owens saved my life. Do something. Make it matter. C.S. My mother's memory is failing. She forgets conversations we had an hour ago. She forgets appointments, names, entire days. But she remembered you. Marcus's voice dropped to almost a whisper. She wrote your name in 3 different journals. She has your picture, from the diner footage, on her phone. And she made me promise something. He paused. No matter what she forgets, I have to remind her. Henry Owens saved her life. Janet was sobbing quietly. Henry's vision blurred with tears. And she made me promise something else. Marcus opened his briefcase fully now. That we'd do something for you. Something that honors what you did. He pulled out a leather folder, set it on the table. 3 months ago, before Mom's diagnosis became undeniable, she came to me with an idea. A scholarship program. Not for valedictorians or athletes. For students with character. Victoria added, students who prove integrity matters more than perfection. Marcus opened the folder. Then Friday happened, and you proved exactly what she was looking for. Inside the folder, documents, letters, and a check. Henry, Marcus said quietly, my mother wants to change your life, and I want to help her do it. He slid the first document forward. A check, made out to Henry Owens, $8,000. Memo line, Stanford University, housing and educational expenses. Henry stared at it. The number didn't seem real. I can't. This is... Marcus held up his hand gently. It's real. You can deposit it today. Mr. Sterling, I didn't help your mother for money. I know you didn't. That's exactly why we're giving it to you. Janet was shaking, reading the check over Henry's shoulder. Marcus slid forward another document. Sterling Family Foundation Medical Assistance Program. Your mother's diabetes medication, doctor visits, all covered for 4 years. And we've paid her outstanding medical debt, $4,200. It's done. Janet's knees buckled. Henry caught her, both of them crying. Third document, lease payment confirmation. 12 months of rent for your apartment, paid in full, $10,680, transferred to your landlord this morning. Henry couldn't speak. The room was spinning. Marcus gave them a moment, then spoke softly. That's the thank you. What comes next is the opportunity. He pulled out a leather-bound charter, the Sterling Character Scholarship Initiative founding document. $50 million over 10 years, 100 students annually, selected not for perfect grades but for character. Victoria explained. Acts of kindness, community service, personal sacrifice, integrity under pressure. Marcus looked at Henry. You'll be our inaugural recipient, the first Sterling Character Scholar. Henry whispered, Why me? Because 17 people had the chance to help my mother. You were the only one who did. He pulled out the screenshot again, Henry counting his money. You knew what that $12 meant. Bus fare, meals, survival. And you gave it anyway. Marcus's eyes locked on Henry's. That's not luck. That's not the circumstance. That's character. And that's exactly who my mother wants to invest in. He slid one more folder across the table. Embossed in gold, Henry Owens, Sterling Character Scholar. This is your package. Full scholarship to Stanford, mentorship, career pathway, $450,000 over 4 years. Henry's hands shook as he opened it. Marcus leaned forward. The question isn't whether you deserve this, Henry. The question is, will you accept it? Henry stared at the folder with his name on it. His hands trembled as he opened it. Page after page of details, numbers that didn't seem real. Victoria walked him through it, her voice gentle but professional. Education support, she began. Full scholarship to Stanford University. Tuition, housing, books, all fees. Value, approximately $82,000 per year for 4 years. Henry's vision blurred. $328,000. Living stipend, $15,000 annually for groceries, personal expenses, emergencies. Janet gripped his shoulder, tears falling on the pages. Technology allowance, $3,000, laptop, software, supplies. Travel allowance, 4 round-trip flights per year, home for the holidays. Victoria turned the page. Mentorship and professional development. Summer internship at Sterling Global Enterprises headquarters. Paid $25 per hour, 40 hours weekly, 10 weeks. That's $10,000 each summer. She continued. Personal mentorship from Mr. Sterling and our senior leadership team. Quarterly check-ins with an executive success coach. Annual professional development workshops. Marcus took over. When you graduate, you'll have a guaranteed job offer in our community development division. Starting salary, $75,000 per year. Full benefits. Henry couldn't process the numbers. They were too big, too impossible. But there's more, Marcus said. You won't just receive this scholarship, you'll help build it. He explained the ambassador role. Help us review applications, 50 to 100 per year. Share your story at fundraising events, school assemblies, conferences. Mentor 2 to 3 younger scholars annually. Serve on our selection committee. Victoria added, represent the program at public events. Be the face of what character-based education looks like. The requirements are simple, Marcus said. Maintain a 3.0 GPA. Complete 40 hours of community service per quarter. Submit quarterly progress reports. Attend our annual Sterling Scholars Summit. He paused. And one more thing, a commitment to pay it forward, to help others the way you've been helped. Henry finally found his voice. Why me? I bought soup. I made a phone call. Anyone would have. Marcus cut him off gently. But they didn't, Henry. He pulled up the map again, the 17 red dots. We have proof. 17 people saw my mother. Security cameras, traffic footage, witnesses. We tracked every interaction. He swiped through images. This woman walked past her. Pulled her child closer, crossed the street. Swipe. This man told her the shelter was 6 blocks away, pointed and kept walking. Swipe. This shop owner came outside, told her to move along or he'd call the cops. Marcus's voice broke. My mother was wearing a $400 coat, pearl earrings. She wasn't homeless. She was sick. And people saw a problem, not a person. He looked at Henry. You saw a person. Janet spoke for the first time since the documents appeared. My son doesn't think he's special. Marcus turned to her. Mrs. Owens, special isn't about being different. It's about making different choices when it matters. He pulled out another document, a timeline. Friday night, 8:47 p.m. My mother walks into the diner. You're about to clock out. The storm's getting worse. You have $12 to last until your next paycheck. He pointed to the security footage timestamp. 8:51 p.m. You make your decision in 3 seconds. The entire rest of your shift, you sit with her, talk to her, keep her calm. 9:11 p.m. You call me. You don't ask for anything. You just want her safe. 9:34 p.m. You wait with her until Victor arrives. You could have left. The soup was paid for. Your shift was over, but you stayed. Marcus's eyes were wet. That's not ordinary kindness, Henry. That's character. That's leadership. Henry shook his head. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if I can't live up to what you think I am? The question hung in the air. Marcus leaned forward, put his hand on Henry's shoulder. Henry, listen to me. You've already proven you're good enough. He gestured to the documents spread across the table. You work 3 jobs, maintain a 3.8 GPA, got into Stanford on merit, take care of your mother, and when you had $12 to your name, you gave it to a stranger. His voice dropped. You've been living up to impossible standards your whole life. This isn't about being good enough. This is about finally having support that matches your character. Victoria added softly, We're not looking for perfect, Henry. We're looking for real, and you're the most real person we've found. Janet was crying openly now. What do we need to do? Marcus pulled out one final document, a simple agreement. Accept the scholarship. Sign here. The check for Stanford is yours today. Medical coverage starts tomorrow. The rent is already paid. He set down a pen. Everything changes today, if you say yes. Henry looked at his mother, saw the hope in her eyes, the exhaustion, the years of double shifts and medical bills and worry. He looked at the Stanford letter on the table, his dream, so close and yet so far for so long. He looked at the check, $8,000, the exact number that had been keeping him awake at night. And he looked at Marcus Sterling. This billionaire's son drove to South Philadelphia on a Sunday morning to sit in a cramped apartment and offer him the world. Henry picked up the pen. His hand shook so badly he could barely hold it. Yes, he whispered. Yes, thank you. I don't know how to thank you enough, but yes. Marcus smiled, tears streaming down his face. You already thanked us, Henry. You saved my mother's life. Henry signed his name. Marcus stood, extended his hand. Welcome to the Sterling family, Henry. They shook. Then Marcus pulled him into a hug. Janet hugged Victoria, both women crying. And in that tiny apartment, something shifted. A life changed. A future opened. A legacy began. 3 months later, the Philadelphia Inquirer ran a front-page story. Teen's act of kindness leads to $450,000 scholarship. The article included the security footage screenshot. Henry counting his $12, Catherine in the booth. Within hours, it went viral. Local TV stations called. National news picked it up. Everyone wanted the kid from South Philly who gave everything to save a billionaire. Henry said the same thing every time. I didn't do anything special. I just didn't look away. But the world disagreed. May came. Jefferson High School's graduation. Henry walked across the stage as valedictorian. Final GPA, 3.9. His speech was simple. We help people not because we can afford it, but because we're human. That's all I did. That's all any of us should do. Standing ovation, 3 minutes long. In the audience, Catherine Sterling sat beside Janet Owens. Marcus held his mother's hand. Catherine leaned to Janet, whispered, "Your son saved my life." Janet whispered back, "Your family saved his." After the ceremony, 5 students approached Henry, all applying for next year's Sterling Scholarship. The ripple effect had begun. August brought Stanford move-in day. The Sterling Foundation flew Janet out with Henry, the first time either had been on a plane. Catherine and Marcus met them on campus, helped with the dorm room setup. Henry's room was modest but beautiful, desk by window, view of palm trees. Janet cried the whole time. "My baby's really here," she kept saying. Campus media covered it. 600 freshmen at orientation heard Henry's story. Afterward, 20 students wanted to know more about character-based scholarships. Henry realized this was bigger than him now. First semester, Henry thrived. Economics, public policy, ethics, GPA, 3.8. Every Sunday, video calls with his mother. The transformation was visible. Janet's health improved dramatically. Consistent medication. No more rationing pills. She'd cut down to 1 job, enrolled in online accounting courses. "You're not the only one with dreams," she told him. Henry volunteered 12 hours weekly at East Palo Alto Community Center, tutored 3 low-income students. One of them, Maria, was applying to colleges, first in her family. "I don't think I'm smart enough," she told Henry. He thought about 47 rejections, about counting $12 3 times. "Smart enough isn't the question," he said. "The question is, will you try?" Maria got into 6 schools. Henry wrote her Sterling Scholarship recommendation. November brought the official program launch. Sterling Global Headquarters, glass building downtown, press conference. Catherine and Marcus stood at the podium, cameras everywhere. $50 million over 10 years, Marcus announced, supporting 100 students annually. Catherine spoke next, slowly, carefully. Memory getting worse, but today she was clear. Character matters more than perfection. Kindness matters more than credentials. She looked at the camera. Henry Owens reminded me of that. When I was lost and scared, he didn't see a billionaire or a vagrant. He saw a human being. The quote went viral within an hour. Henry appeared via video from Stanford. This isn't about perfect grades. It's about perfect hearts. Young people who choose kindness when no one's watching. Applications opened December 1st. Website crashed immediately. 15,000 visitors. By month's end, 3,400 applications received. December brought Henry home for winter break. He joined the selection committee. The stories broke his heart. A girl who spent $2,100 in babysitting money buying groceries for elderly neighbors during the pandemic. A boy in a homeless shelter who organized coat drives. 450 coats collected. A student who started free tutoring in her apartment building. 20 kids taught. A teen who used birthday money to pay a classmate's lunch debt. Prevented suspension. The committee selected 12 inaugural scholars. Combined value, $2.8 million in year 1. Catherine held the announcement photo, hand trembling. "This is legacy," she whispered to Marcus. "Not buildings. This." The community transformed around them. Green's Diner saw traffic increase 200%. People wanted to eat where it happened. Mr. Green framed the receipt, created a pay-it-forward board for prepaid meals. 6 months later, 156 free meals served. He gave staff raises, hired 2 more workers. Jefferson High created the Henry Owens Character Award, $1,000 for seniors demonstrating character. Alumni donated $12,000 in year 1, 12 years funded. First recipient, Maya Rodriguez, who tutored special needs students every lunch period. Henry returned to present it. Spoke to 800 students. "I'm not a hero. I just didn't look away. None of you should either." 23 students approached him after, wanted to apply for a Sterling Scholarship. 5 other restaurants launched pay-it-forward programs. A community organization started the Sterling Kindness Challenge. Residents shared acts of service online. 2,000 acts documented in 6 months. Schools across Philadelphia adopted Henry's story. 340 schools, 140,000 students. Catherine's words appeared on posters, shirts, mugs. Henry didn't see a billionaire or a vagrant. He saw a human being. That was the world they were building, one act at a time. January 12th, 1 year exactly. Henry walked down Tasker Street at 6 p.m. Cold air bit his cheeks. Same winter cold as last year, but everything else had changed. He was home from Stanford for winter break, freshman year almost done. Green's Diner came into view. Renovated now. New paint, new booths. But the heart was the same. Henry pushed through the door. Bell chimed. Mr. Green looked up, grinned wide. "The scholar's back!" They hugged. Mr. Green's eyes were wet. Henry slid into a booth. Not the corner one. That booth had a brass plaque now. January 12th, 2024, where kindness changed everything. The framed receipt hung beside it. News clippings, photos. Mr. Green brought coffee without asking, sat across from him. They talked. Stanford, the 12 new scholars, life. "That pay it forward board," Mr. Green said. 156 meals this year. Your story made people better." Henry looked at the board. 31 meals prepaid. Before leaving, he added $200. Internship money. Mr. Green noticed, nodded with respect. 7:15. Henry stood, buttoned his coat. The nice one his mom bought with her first Christmas bonus. The door chimed. A young Latina girl entered, maybe 14, soaked. Thin jacket, not warm enough. Exhausted, scared. She approached the counter. "How much is the tomato soup?" $6.50, hun." The girl checked her pockets. Coins, crumpled bills. $4.85. Her face fell. "I thought I had enough. I'm sorry." She turned toward the door. Henry was at the register in 3 steps. "I've got this." She turned. "You don't have to." Henry smiled. "I know, but someone did the same for me, exactly 1 year ago tonight." He pulled out a Sterling scholarship card. "If you're thinking about college, reach out. We help students like you. Just pass it forward someday, okay?" The girl clutched the card, eyes wet. "Thank you. I won't forget." "Don't forget to help someone else, too." She sat in the booth with the plaque. Mr. Green raised his coffee mug across the room. Henry nodded back. Outside, January rain fell, same as last year. Henry looked through the window one last time. The girl was eating, warming up, reading the card with hope in her eyes. Another circle beginning, another life about to change. Henry finally understood what Catherine had been trying to tell him. This was never about him. It was about what happens when one person refuses to look away, when one phone call saves a life, when kindness becomes tradition. The character reveals itself when no one's watching, but its impact? That ripples forever. Henry made one phone call on a freezing Friday night. One call that saved a life, changed hundreds of lives, started a $50 million movement. What call could you make today? Not to a billionaire, maybe to a neighbor who seems lonely, maybe to check on someone struggling, maybe just to say, "I see you. You matter." The Sterling Character Scholarship is real. Since that January night, they've supported over 200 students, changed 200 families, all because one 17-year-old didn't look away. So here's my challenge. This week, help someone. Not for recognition, not for reward. Just because you can. Just because they need it. If this story moved you, share it. Someone watching might be one act of kindness away from changing the world. Hit like. Subscribe to Muse Stories for more stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And remember, character isn't what you do when people are watching. It's what you do when no one will ever know. Make every moment count.
$12. Henry Owens counted it 3 times before deciding. That decision became $450,000 scholarship, started $50 million movement, changed 200 lives. But here's what nobody's tell you about kindness. 17 people saw Catherine Sterling wandering that night. Security footage proves it. That Henry, working 3 jobs, $34.15 in his account, he counted those $12 knowing they were everything until next Friday. Counted 3 times, then bought soup for a confused stranger anyway. That's not generosity when you have a child. That's sacrifice when you have nothing. That's character nobody's grading. That's choosing someone else's humanity over your own survival. Catherine had $4.7 billion. Couldn't remember her address. Alzheimer's doesn't care about your bank account. Hypothermia doesn't check your resume. When she needed help, wealth meant nothing. Only Henry's choice mattered. Think about last confused, elderly person you saw. Did you stop? Did you assume someone else would handle it? Because 16 other people made that assumption. Only Henry didn't. You will see someone struggling this week, confused, lost, scared. Will you be the 17 who look away, or the one who stays? Security cameras caught Henry's choice, but nobody's recording yours. That's when character matters most. Comment: when did someone's kindness change your life? Subscribe my channel if you believe one person refusing to look away matters. Share with someone who needs remembering their choices count, because